Accordingly, I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president. Let me tell you what those 4 years have done to America. The longest war that America's ever had in its history. The worst crime wave we've ever had in our history. The highest taxes we've ever had in our history. The highest rate in the cost of living that we've had in a generation. And the lowest respect for the United States of America in our history.
Nixon increased the air raids, started bringing troops home, and used the Vietnamese forces for ground support. The air attacks continued while possible peace agreements were being written. The Christmas bombings of northern Vietnam's major cities received international scorn. In 1973, the Paris Peace Agreement was signed, ending the hostility between the U.S. and North Vietnam. In April of 1975, the Communists advanced on the President's house in Saigon, taking final and ultimate control of Vietnam. Much blood was spilled, both by the Americans and Vietnamese throughout the course of the war. Communism was being fought in Vietnam, but those who wished to see its end inevitably lost. Many American soldiers lost their lives, and the War Memorial in Washington is a testimony to this, moving the hearts of hundreds. The willing sacrifices of so many soldiers and the forced sacrifices of hundreds more will be forever remembered. A few thousand peasants with guns advanced against the French and Americans to come out victorious. But was it an advance of communism for them, or was it merely a fight for freedom? The Vietnamese had been oppressed for hundreds of years. This small nation showed the world that they would not go quietly into the night. They would fight, and they would succeed.
The Ho Chi Minh Train. Deep in the jungles of Vietnam, soldiers from both sides battled each other in heat and exhaustion for nearly years. But the key to communist victory wasn't weapons or stamina, it was a dirt road. The Ho Chi Minh Train, winding through Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, started as a simple network of dirt roads and blossomed into the centerpiece of the winning North Vietnamese strategy during the Vietnam War, supplying weapons, troops, and physiological support to the South. The trail was a network of tracks, dirt, roads, and river crossings that treated west out of North Vietnam and south along the Trong Son mountain range between Vietnam and Laos. The journey to the south originally took 6 months, but with engineering and ingenuity, the Vietnamese expanded and improved the trail. Towards the end of the war, as the main roads detoured through Laos, it took only 1 week. Here is how it happened. In 1959, as relations deteriorated between the North and the South, a system of trails was constructed in order to infiltrate soldiers, weapons, and supplies into South Vietnam. The first troops moved in a single file along routes used by local ethnic groups, and broken tree branches at dusty crossroads were often all that indicated direction. Initially, most of the communist cadres who came down the trail were southerners by birth, who had trained in North Vietnam. They dressed like civilian peasants in black, silk pajamas with a checkered scarf. They wore Ho Chi Minh sandal on their feet, cut from truck tires, and carried their ration of cooked rice in elephant's intestine. A linen tube hung around the body. The conditions were harsh, and many deaths were caused by exposure, malaria, and amoebic dysentery. Getting lost, starvation to death, and the possibility of attacks by wild tigers and bears were constant threats. Meals were invariably just rice and salt. It was easy to run out. Fear, boredom, and homesickness were the dominant emotions, and soldiers occupied their spare time by writing letters, drawing sketches, and drinking and smoking with local villagers. The first troops down the trail did not engage in much fighting, and after an exhausting 6-month trip, arriving in the south was a real highlight, often celebrated by bursting into songs. By 1965, the trip down the trail could be made by truck. Thousands of trucks, supplied by China and Russia, took up the task amidst ferocious B-52 bombing, and truck drivers became the pilots of the ground. As the traffic down the trail increased, so did the US bombing. They drove at night or in the early morning to avoid airstrikes, and watchmen were ready to warn drivers of enemy aircraft. Villagers along the trail organized teams to guarantee traffic flow and to help drivers repair damage caused by air attacks. Their catch cries were, "Everything for our southern brothers, and we will not worry about our homes if the vehicles have not yet gotten through." Some families donated their doors and wooden beds to repair roads Vietnamese forces even used deception to get US aircraft to bomb mountainsides in order to make gravel for use in building and maintaining roads. The all-pervading red dust seeped into every nook and cranny. The Ho Chi Minh Trail had a profound impact in the Vietnamese War, and it was the key to Hanoi's success. Not Vietnamese victory was not determined by the battlefield, but by the trial, which was the political, strategic, and economic linchpin. Americans recognized its achievement, calling it the trial.